Hey
It's
guys,
fun. Oh,
this
you're
is my
on.
friend. Yeah, this is my good friend Myra Estelle. Myra is the author of Awakening Love, and she has a new book out. Here's the title, which is an amazing title: The Way the World Works. Could you tell the audience some of your experiences?
I saw people struggling, suffering. I'm trained as an architect.
Right.
So I'm trained as a problem solver. And the planet at the moment is having problems. So I wanted to know, what is it? Why are we here? Why do we live on top of this planet?
Mm-hmm.
And as I started learning about this through meditation,
Okay.
I discovered that there is far more to life than we're normally told.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that's not usually discussed out loud.
Have you guys noticed the theme? Because if you remember in season 1, episode 2, Sam Shelley came on the show, and he no longer has bipolar or MS, multiple sclerosis. He hasn't had it. He hasn't taken medication in over a year. It all started with meditation.
It's fabulous, fabulous. I'm not saying it's going to cure all known
Right,
diseases,
and I'm not
but
telling anyone to get off their medication either. You know, it was a whole process, and he's writing a book too.
Wonderful.
But okay, so you started meditating.
Yes. And I realized there's more to who I am and who everyone else is. And I started to come to terms with the fact that we're not just walking on top of the planet. We're actually part of the planetary system. This planet is a living organism, and it's a planetary ecosystem. So everything is connected to everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not just here existing as separate individuals, separate bodies. We are separate bodies, but that's not all there is.
Mm-hmm.
So underneath us, the most important part of us is what's invisible in us, our thoughts and our feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really our consciousness. And so this is the main part of who we are.
It makes me think of the biggest part of ourselves is what's invisible,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And we all acknowledge that we have thoughts and we have feelings, right? And those are invisible.
Yeah.
But when it comes to God, people say God's not real because he's invisible.
Well, I don't think it dawns on most people that the most important part of us is invisible. Because when I meet you, I see your body, your face, your body.
Mhm.
I don't see your thoughts.
Yeah. Thank God.
I relate to your thoughts because we have conversation
Yeah.
together, but I don't see your thoughts as separate. So this is very hard for most people. They think what you see is what you get.
Right.
So it's very hard to understand that the most important part of us is invisible. You think, sadly, of some people who don't have a limb, they're missing some part of their body, but because they have consciousness, they're still a human being.
Yeah.
The consciousness
Right.
is the most important part of who we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
So everything that we've created comes from our consciousness. But then you look at the world and you say, we didn't create this. We didn't make this happen.
Right, we didn't build this one.
No.
This was here first.
It was here before we could be here. So who did create it? Okay, so as we learn to tune in through meditation to our consciousness, we tune into a deeper part of our consciousness. Just to understand that we're connected to this higher consciousness in an amazing way.
Yeah.
And the only way we can find that out is by meditating, by learning to tune into it, taking the time to do this, even for 10 or 15 minutes a day.
How would you describe God?
Okay. For me, there's no person in the sky, okay? There's no man or woman or thing or being. We've seen that. We've seen there's nobody you can see. So there has to be a consciousness, a conscious energy that is creating. We're told by physicists that the universe is constantly expanding.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So
a
it's
fact. That's
constantly creating new stars and planets. And we're part of that creative process. And so all of the planets are being created gradually,
Yeah.
and we are an extension of that on this planet. We are an extension of that creative process.
We're just like an old creation and the new.
No, we're forms of consciousness so that we can keep creating. So that's why our ideas come through,
I
and then
see.
we create more on the planet.
So are you saying that as this higher consciousness creates more out there in the universe, we become more creative? Like we're evolving to become more creative?
Yes,
Wow.
and that's why we're going through this major change right now.
That is so cool. That is so cool. I love
Yeah.
it.
And it's not just me saying this, other teachers say this too, that we've come to a time now, they call it a quickening on the planet, a quickening of consciousness, where more and more people are getting connected to a higher consciousness. And as we do that, we start to understand the world in a clearer way.
Because what you're saying is we're connected. We're not just, oh, we're connected. If, a butterfly flaps its wings in China, there's going to be a grass blade that breaks here. No, you're saying that as the higher consciousness is creating more, like going out there and expanding the universe more and more, planets and space and stars, that's affecting us personally, individually, that our ideas, when you get those ideas, like, oh, wow, like, how did I think of that? That's all connected to it.
It's all connected. It's all one.
What's the difference between the consciousness that you describe as God and the invisible consciousness that you were describing that's in us, the biggest part of ourselves being invisible?
Okay, so our consciousness is in fact part of the greater consciousness. It's all one energy. But because our part of the consciousness is in our bodies, we're limited in how we can use it.
Okay.
Because physically we can't see to the other side of the world.
Right.
We can't hear everything that's going on in the world, thank goodness. But we're here for a reason. We're here to discover this higher consciousness and to allow ourselves to be in relationship with this higher consciousness.
A relationship with it.
Yes, that's the most important thing, because as you do that, you come into harmony with all that exists. This is amazing. And what happens, which is so beautiful, is that we develop more compassion within ourselves. Because as we come into harmony, we can relax more, we can feel more at peace with who we are. And ultimately, as more of us come into the state of inner peace, we create more peace in the world.
Myra, thank you so much for coming on the
It's
show.
my pleasure, absolutely.
Now,
It's delightful.
where can they find this? I know you're on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com.
Yes, and iTunes.
iTunes, and do you have a website?
I do. MyraStella.com.
Now, just so you know, Awakening Love is from a Jewish perspective.
Yes.
We're Jewish.
Right.
Well, because Myra is Jewish, not because I'm Jewish. This one isn't a Jewish book. This is for everybody.
This is for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you again. Give me a hug. All right. See you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.